The reason why we see the pattern and the pattern emerges is so that we can recognize, let me grab and take hold. I have a big basket. I want to put in all of the strengths that Hashem gave me. I want to hug them and embrace them and utilize them and cherish them and say thank you to Hashem for them from A to Z. And the weaknesses I want to look at as my personal coaches. Remember, just because we have like sort of this format, we have strong muscles, we've got coaches, we've got siyata dishmaya, we're not held into any fate. That's why we're learning this. We're recognizing there's free will. Hashem wouldn't have put us into a state where everything is just determined, signed, sealed, delivered. I want us all to remember one basic Emuna perspective. Listen, I need to listen to this. The idea of living in this world is to live this world in a question mark. This world is a world of a question mark. And the reason that Hashem created us to live in the world of a question, as a question mark, is so that, you notice how it's sort of rounded, how it sort of moves and then it goes straight, round and then goes straight. The whole idea is to try to not end, okay, in the same place, so to speak, that I began. Okay, it was a little crooked for me, but then eventually I made my way and was able to bring down into this world that which I needed to bring. The idea is to take the question mark and eventually make it into an exclamation point. And now we learned that the exclamation point, look at the shape of it. It looks like a Vav. We want to eventually make those questions into statements. Most of those statements are going to be Emuna statements, okay? But the key is that we really would like to recognize the fact that in this world, we all are a little bit decrepit. You know, we're a little bit decrepit. The question mark sort of like the nun. You know, there's so much I could talk about, but let me just tell you this. I found this one of the most fascinating words that came to my brain. Thank you, Hashem. The word nisayon starts with a nun and ends with a nun. Nun, we recognized when we learned, nun is the gates of freedom. 50. It's the place, the threshold where we're able to actually climb over and experience a huge transformation. All changes really begin, Sharon Nun. I'll tell you. You start off the nisyonot with a decrepit, kind of looking decrepit. The nun is kind of like nofel, right? It's like a fetus, right? You're sort of like this. And you're looking down. Yeah, okay, I have some stability on the bottom, but you're sort of like looking down and you feel kind of like crunched up. You move forward to the samach. By the way, we can use all that we're learning here to better understand all words of the Hebrew language. So if you want to look at the word eved, if you want to look at the word nisayon, if you want to look at the word koshi, if you want to look at the word, all the words, take what we could take what we're learning and decipher a hidden meaning into everything in our life. I don't want you to take just this numerology program and just use it for a numerology map. I want you to be able to recognize the gematriot, the numbers, the commonalities, the switch of right, Sarah. The word for sorrow is also a tzohar. It's also a window, right? I want you to be able to look at, and this is what I'm doing all day long. I'm playing Scrabble all day long with the letters, right? Figuring out gematriot, come up with new ideas about your life. Okay, it's not just about your name. It's everything in life could be switched around. And Sefer Yetzirah speaks about this a lot. That every nega, every plague, a nega means plague, every nega in a person's life could be switched around to be the biggest oneg and pleasure. Switch the letters nun, gimel, ayin, it spells oneg. right? Every Rasha has a sha'ar, same letters, right? Whenever you feel evil, Rasha'ut, it's a sha'ar. There's a shi'ur in every every sha'ar is a shi'ur, is a lesson. Whenever you're going through something, so to speak, evil in your life, Rasha'ut, there's a sha'ar, there's a gate that's opening up for you. There's a lesson, there's a shi'ur. It's like going to a class. Yisurim from the word lahasir. Like, we can go on. We could probably have a whole series just on this. Okay? I want us to understand that use this to understand. So let me just go back to the Nisayon. When we're going through a Nisayon, we got to move and we have to understand there's an opportunity of a gate. Nisayon starts with a nun because there's an opportunity to go through a gate in your life. What is it going to do once you go through this gate? Samach, you're going to meet a place of security, of safety, of feeling supported in your life. You got to proceed. Nisayon means a challenge. Nisayon means a challenge in your life, a test, a trial, a tribulation. All challenges in life are called nisyonot, from the word nisayon. Thank you for asking. If anybody doesn't understand, I'm sorry. I sometimes take for granted. I think everyone understands me. But please feel free to ask. If you go through all the letters of Nisayon, you'll see that you have in the Nisayon the Nes. Because what is a Nisayon? What is a challenge? You're being challenged to break your nature. What are we learning in this program? That we have a nature. There's a certain pattern. There's a certain, mindset. There's a certain pathway that we are used to. We habituated ourselves to living. What am I going to do? I'm just an angry personality. What am I going to do? I'm just mediocre. What am I going to do? I'm just rolling around over and over and over again in the same patterns of life. What am I going to do? I feel stuck. What am I going to do? I don't like myself. What do I do? What do I do? You know, there is like a certain picture that we're sort of used to and we're accustomed to seeing ourselves in. But the idea of a Nisayon is Hashem is saying, break your nature. Go above your nature. What does it mean when something goes against nature? What do we call it? A miracle. What is this doing to us? We're waiting for the nest. We're waiting for the miracle. It's breaking our nature. The Nisayon here is we're supposed to break a nature of ours. All of life is about you think you know who you are? You set limits to who you are? Guess what? Let me give you a challenge that's going to break all borders of consciousness of yourself. That's what this virus is doing. Everything we thought we knew about life is like, whoop, there goes that out the door. Ha, there goes that out the door. Ha ha. I'm planting something. Oh, there goes that plant out the door. It's like everything that we thought was regular, sane, normal, nothing. Hashem is putting us through a Nisayon because he's breaking nature so that he's going to reveal with the coming of Mashiach the Nes, the miracle of life, the miracle of reality. That's what we're here, 5,781 years. We're living for the Nes. We're living for this opportunity. So every time we go through a hardship, remember, look at the letters. You start out decrepit. It's meant to drive you towards a place of safety with the samach. And if you are able to focus in on that Nisayon, and you're focused in on the end result, the miracle of that hardship, what's going to follow is you're going to be able to be born and be renewed. How do we see this in the rest of the letters? Yud, little old me, I'm starting again. Yud is the letter of beginnings. Vav, wow, I'm expanding. Nun, wow, I've got my legs deeply rooted now in the ground. if I can overcome my nature and experience the ness and the breaking of my nature, I'm born from the Yud to the Vav to a new Nun, where I started out with a decrepit Nun, where I was like this. I'm now this, with my feet, my roots, deeply planted in the ground. However, there's a danger in the Nisayon. You know what the danger is? After the Nes, you might fall into Yavan. Yud Vav Nun spells Yavan, Greece. There's a danger in the Nisayon that unless you're able to see the Nes, you might fall into the Yavan. You might fall into a place of, you know, haughtiness. Look at me. I broke my nature. I'm all high and mighty. You have to be careful within every Nisayon. But you see how you could take the letters? All that we're learning here. I don't want you to be stuck to just, you know, being hooked onto numerology. I want you to recognize that there's a way for you to unscramble your reality. All of life is about unscrambling reality. That's what the Baal Shem Tov did. The Baal Shem Tov took a person's reality and did new unifications. He did yichudim. That's all that the Baal Shem Tov did. He took everyone's reality and he unscrambled it and created new realities by switching the raw potential of the letters and creating a new meaning to it. You and I can take the virus and we can create beautiful realities with it. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck in what we're going to learn in the nature. Remember that the Nisayon of life is to create the nest from the nature. That's what life is all about. Every class, no one is stuck. We have grand opportunities to break our nature and utilize the beautiful tools that Hashem gives us. He doesn't put us in a... Let me just say this one last thing. If you feel that you're a victim, you're living the wrong life. You're living a life unlived. No one's a victim. Hashem doesn't create victims. Hashem creates coaches to coach you through life. Nobody's stuck. Nobody has no choice. We all have choices. We have a choice to even say that we have a choice. So please just remember that. Nobody's a victim. If you ever felt like you were a victim, you're not living the life Hashem put you in to live. Something's wrong with the way that you're processing what Hashem is giving you. He doesn't create, no one's a miskin. No one's a miskin. You know, we say the word, oy, ez a miskin, like nebach. Nobody's a nebach. Rabbi Nachman says nobody's a nebach. You're not even supposed to say that anybody's a nebach, as a misken, as a poor soul. Oh, poor guy. Yes, I mean, we as a bystander, we're going to have compassion. And that should drive us to daven and ask Hashem to change things around. But the minute we say someone's a misken, a nebach, ay, poor guy, ay, what are we saying? He has no mazel. We're saying that person is like hooked into a situation that, you know, it's not fair. That's not the reality. That's not what God does for us. Remember, it's not what God does to us. It's what God does for us. He's always doing for us. He's not doing to us anything. He's not out to get us. Everything's an opportunity. Okay? Hopefully that was a chizuk for the day and gives us much to think about.